Hi friends, and welcome to Tiny Technical Tutorials, where we do bite-sized lessons for today's tech. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a resume or a CV using the Microsoft Word templates. Here I am in Microsoft Word, and we're going to start with a new document. To get to the templates, choose More Templates. And there's a lot of things here. We want to focus on the resumes and cover letters, so click on that. And lots of things to choose from here. I'll just scroll down to kind of show you what we're working with. I would recommend looking at a lot of these and just sort of figuring out what you want to highlight about yourself. For instance, do you want to put a picture on there? Do you have more education than employment experience? Do you want to highlight certain skills and so forth? Is there a certain look you're going for? So just to show you, I'll click on one of these. You'll get a nice preview here and a short description of what's on the resume. You can page through, look at different options here. So it kind of depends what you're going for, but there's plenty of different options, plenty of different layouts that you can choose from. We'll just go with this first one here on the top left. We'll say this looks good and hit create. You will get a resume assistant, but I'll close that out. I will be your assistant for this video. The first thing I would recommend is make sure that you're showing formatting by having this button clicked up here. This will show you things like, for example, this is all in a table. So if you know that you've got 3 columns here, that'll just help you with formatting and kind of understand when things move around on the page, what's really going on. I always have that on for my documents. I feel like I can't work without it. And the next thing I would recommend is to save this before you do anything else. You'll see up at the top that it's just document 1, and that's because you were starting from a template. And when you create a new instance based on a template, it's just an unsaved document. So don't get all the way through this and realize you haven't saved it. Let me save it real quickly. So Jane Smith resume. Okay, very good. Now depending on the template you chose, there's going to be different elements in here that you need to update. I'll show you some of the common ones. First one being the picture. So to update this, just click on the picture and then come up to Picture Format and say Change Picture from a file. I have a headshot here that I'll insert. Perfect. And then the text is pretty easy to update. You'll just click on it and make your updates. Job title, let's say we are a UX designer. And then the updates happen the same way throughout the document. You'll see that as you're clicking on these, the whole thing highlights. So these are fields basically that you just need to fill in. Let's say for work experience, Jane is at Tiny Design and title is Lead UX Designer. Dates, September 2016, and maybe this is a current job as well. It also gives you some nice tips here about what you should be highlighting to make your resume stand out to a potential employer. So you'll go through, make these updates. If you don't need everything on here, you can just select this block, for example, and delete it. Or if you need more, just copy that and paste the additional information here. Depending on how much content you're adding, you see that it might break onto another page. So get everything in there that you need first and then go back and do some formatting, add pages, change your table, whatever you need to do. But really easy to update the text parts. Over on the left here as well, it gives you another prompt. This will actually show you how to change out the picture like we just did. You'll want to update your contact information and so forth. The last thing I want to show you, a lot of the templates these days have skills down here with this nice sort of table or proficiency scale. And you want to update this to highlight your skills. So one thing you can do if you choose this little filter button here, maybe there's only 4 skills that you want to highlight, so you could deselect skill number 5. Apply, but most importantly is the actual data that's driving this. And that's accessible if you hit Select Data. And this data just lives in an Excel spreadsheet that's kind of baked into the back end, if you will. But here's where you want to update the actual wording. So we're not going to display skill 5, but let's say skill 4 is Photoshop. And here we're doing a scale of 0 to 1, a decimal number. So let's say you're pretty darn good at Photoshop. Maybe you've got Illustrator experience, but not as strong on that, maybe a 0.7. You've got Balsamic, another tool that a designer might use, call that a 0.8, and maybe Jira, 0.75. And you'll see that's updating back in the resume as I'm doing those updates. You can just take skill 5 out entirely if you want here, get rid of that, and then update where the table is pulling from. All right, when you're done, you can just close out of that. You might need to adjust the formatting a little bit here. You'll see that some of my skill names are wrapping Photoshop, for example. There we go. So there's some simple things you can do. If you're familiar with Excel, you're going to get the same kind of an experience. You can also come up to the top under Chart Design, get some additional options, and then you've got these options over here as well. Things like your chart style, chart elements, and so on. So there you go. Those are the basics of working with one of these templates. Really easy to update the text, the picture, the skills, other elements. I won't do all of that here, but hopefully this helps. Just make sure you're saving as you go, and then go get the job. And that does it for this video. If you found this content valuable, we always appreciate the likes, subscribes, and shares.